Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Wano deck deep dive. Today featuring the new DivMob division that came out with the free Reinforcement Pack 11 Low Country Alliance. And this one is the spammy kinda new reservist division that has a couple of forward deploy options and a couple of other nice features, and we're gonna talk about it in the deep dive. I have played this a bit now, and I'm really happy with this lineup, so let's talk about it. There are key couple of units that you really have to make work, and if they work, this division can work out. Otherwise, it's not the best, but I think it's not D tier at least. Like, it's high C tier, low B tier maybe on the right map. But let's jump in here. Starting with logistics tab, where we go in with some Iltis PCs. And this one is just your normal classic 3 availability car CV that does its job. We have 3 supply cards, and that's pretty key because you need it for artillery, you need it for a lot of your infantry moving around and stuff. So 3 supply cards here we go. Then infantry tab is a pretty good one, as you get 4 deploy infantry. This is super essential, and let's organize this slightly better. But yeah, the forward deploy para commandos are the key opening units, together with the pretty cheap Unimog with a Milan that gives you the 80 GM in your forward deploy and a 50 cal that can help out against infantry units that don't have AT, or from a bit further away against infantry with AT to win the opener fights. So the infantry itself is pretty decent at 1 vet with 2 MGs, a good AT weapon, 8 hit points. That does work. And then your main follow-up will be the Provincial with a 50 cal little transport here that can help out with the fire support. And to make them work fully, you want to have the gendarme close by, removing the reservist trait so that these guys can actually fight. And if you really want to make them work, you also bring in the commander next to them so that they go to 1 vet, and then these are actually pretty cost efficient infantry fighting units against other infantry. Though as they have a super bazooka, you want to have some RL-83s mixed in, and that's where the Fusiliers come in, giving you a slightly better AT weapon for the blobs together with the remaining paracommandos that you have after the opener. You're not gonna use all 7 of these, so that's what you want to mix in here to give this a bit better infantry AT, these 2 teams. But your main line will be these guys, plus the 50 cuts behind them. And with 60, you can spam 4 of these per minute and really set a lot of stuff into your enemy's face. And that's pretty nice. The BDX transport here, pretty helpful as well. Military Police 2 can help out the tank blob, can help out the infantry. Plus double MG actually is decent damage here for these guys. And then, yeah, Milan 1. Currently really strong as 45 points. Soon going to be back to 50 as it got the accuracy buff. But yeah, Milan 1 key, and forward deploy Milan 2 key as well to really lock down whatever your power commandos got you. Artillery is where this division currently really shines, and it likely gonna get changed a bit, as the 203mm currently comes with free vet 2. And as you can see, it's 1 availability here, 1 availability there. So either it will get 2 availability here, in which case it will get absolutely nuts. That would be really great. Or it will lose this. But currently, you get this, and that means 200... instead of a 30-second aim time, you get a 22-second aim time, which is really big, making 203mm really reactive. And this is a 203mm. This is like an MR10 for 120 points. You have slightly less range, so it's slightly less accurate, but that doesn't matter all that much of 203mm. So you basically get 2 of these for the price of 1 M110 or similar artillery piece. And that is just fantastic. Like, you can set up your artillery really early and just start smacking down enemy positions. And you get, if you set a leader next to this, this has a 16-second aim time if it goes to vet 3. And then you can just really smack anything really quickly, really reactive as well. And they then also have a pretty good rate of fire, so the enemy reaction time is not that great either. So 203mm here are the key factor if you want to win games with this. If, like, this is the way. There is no other real way in 1v1 to win with this deck, but this will be the way. For team games, you even get more 2 or 3 millimeters. This is a pretty efficient 155 millimeter as well. So artillery spam is kind of the way that you need to be doing if you want to have any chance of winning, in my eyes. These guys here are here for the smoke. These, you want to keep using smoke, then run away so that the enemy can't counter battery, so that you have the smoke constantly throughout the game. That's why we don't take the infantry team, but the ones in transport. And so that your infantry plop can move around, so that your tank plop that all has low range can get into range and actually use it. So the artillery tab here is absolutely essential key factor for making this deck work, and the 2 or 3 millimeters are currently completely busted. Like, best artillery piece in the game right now when it comes to the barrel artillery. Then tank tab. We have a really big amount of vehicles as well, but they're all pretty trash. M47 actually is a decent fire support unit, has a lot of MGs, has a decent HE gun, has a good rate of fire with it as well. But obviously it's reservist and it's heat, so you need a lot of these to deal with any normal medium tank to actually kill them. But you can deal with light vehicles and light tanks decently well with these. Like against Leo 1s or so, they actually have a pretty decent matchup. M41s, kind of similar deal, only that these guys are fast, so you really want to use these as your flanking plop. And to make them all a bit better, you have a military police truck here that especially goes well with the M41s, so you have like 5 of these, 1 of these going around with them and doing the job. And then to actually kill heavy tanks, you have the Milan 2 and the Striker that you always want to have 1 or 2 at least around behind your tank plop, so that any T-72 or so showing up gets hit hard and can get killed. Really important factor here to actually get some kills, and these guys do the dying and the light damage on the front line. And as I said, smoke play really key if you want to make these work on the big blob. You can get a lot of these, like you can get 4 of these per minute as well, nearly 5. And you can get even more of the M41s, so this can be spammed out really quickly, really early on, and that's really the strength of this division. That momentum you have to use before the enemy can get up too many units, and as you can see, everything in this deck is pretty cheap. Artillery is really cost efficient. You can get nearly both of these in 1 minute and just set it up and start barraging the enemy. And if you take out the enemy AT position, or if you kill off the one enemy heavy tank that they had around in the opener on that flank, then yet vehicles can move forward. Like that's what you want to unlock with this deck. So M47 spam going in. Recon tab, pretty solid. You have your recon helicopter, you have your recon infantry with Plindicide, and the SDRA 8 are an okay squad as well. I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna keep them or switch them out for the really cheap 20 point recon unit that still has an AT launcher. At 70 points is still feeling a bit high, but they have a sniper rifle, and that enables them, if you mix them in with the para commando that bring the AT, they can stand down enemy recon. So in forward deploy fights, these guys can help out stunning the enemy so that you win the infantry fights. So they can actually be quite handy there. I'm still not the biggest fan of these, no GSR or so. And then Scimitar is key for your tank plops. Like you need to move around with that to spot for your tank plop so that they can shoot up enemy ATGM vehicles and so on. So Scimitar, key factor here. AA factor is great as well. You have 2 cuts of Firehawks, which are fantastic, do their job really, really well. You have 4 deploy Mistrals, key factor as well, so that enemy helicopter openers against decks that likely will bring them can be stopped and won't kill your forward deploy. So really key asset as well. And then we have the triple 20mm, both in the truck and on the ground, and those are here to move around with your infantry, stop helicopters from running you over, and also just killing off enemy infantry. Like having these behind your provinciers, when the provinciers do the dying and these guys do the damage against enemy infantry or enemy light vehicles, that works really, really well as well. So yeah, another key factor here. This is a really nice combined arms deck. It's a really low to the ground combined arms deck, but it is absolutely combined arms all around the corner. Like this is not your average just spam one thing deck. You need to spam all things, but you can't spam all things, and that's The cool factor, as I said, I'm not quite sure where this will end up. I don't think it will end up super high, but it has its way to victory, and the artillery is a big part of it. And then the air tap. You get your cheap F-16s, another spammable unit that can kill off an enemy helicopter quickly and so on, can hunt down an enemy bomber that tries to come in a bit too early before the enemy has air defense, and kill that off. And then you have 2 cluster and HE bombers, both here mainly for the cluster part, because you want to kill enemy heavy tanks. And as the same with, if you want to catch up the enemy heavy tank with the artillery, same can happen with air. If the enemy only has one M1 or T80 or so on a flank, and you otherwise can just push that, bring this in, kill that thing. If you trade 1-to-1, that's fine, and then just move in there, get your stuff moving forward, and get the spot early on so that you can then either dig in and do the artillery warfare, or really just finish it with a big push full of stuff that follows up. Like, this is the way of the Belgians. So, yeah, strengths and weaknesses, as always. Strength, cheap, affordable infantry, lots of cheap vehicles, and forward deployment. Good forward deployment are the 3 big strengths. Weaknesses, no modern MBT, no IFV, so that's 2 big gaps in the lineup. And then, as a third one, I would say no good ASF, and in general a relatively weak air tap. Like, that would be one of the things here. But yeah, no modern MBT and no IFV are the main things. So this deck really needs to get going quickly, but it has the tools for doing that. That's what differentiates it from like a 152nd. Like, these vehicles do have a bit of staying power. They can roll in there, and they also have some killing power. Like, they have the 50 counts on. Like, they can kill enemy infantry, and they also can eat a shot or 2 from like a Milan 1 or so. And that's a big difference to the light vehicles that you get in 152nd. So the air tap and the AA tap there also being better with the iHawks and so on. So in general, a really interesting deck, and I'm absolutely looking forward to play this more. I feel like I will tank my elo with it, but I'm absolutely here for it. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what you think about this division down below. Obviously, CLKA coming up in the upcoming days, so if you don't want to miss that one, subscribe down below as well. And see you all in the next one.